Right, you're a gamer, and you think you're pretty good. The bee's knees, the top trump, the big daddy. Well then, you're probably after a gaming monitor that can keep up with your mad skills. But you probably discovered at this point that they can get very pricey indeed. So what if I told you that you can get the best that the gaming monitor world has to offer for under $400 or pounds? You'd probably call me a liar, but you'd be wrong. I'm going to go through everything you need to know and loads more about this incredible bit of kit. But first, a quick word from our sponsors, Nvidia and MSI, and their awesome GeForce RTX gaming laptops. The MSI GF65 is an incredible thin and light gaming notebook that's ready to play your games your way. Packing a 120Hz screen, paired with a GeForce RTX 2060, an Intel Core i7 processor right under the hood, you can play the latest games without breaking a sweat. And thanks to RTX ray tracing, games look better than ever with mind-blowing realism. Grab yours today with the link down below. So then, we have here in front of us the Pixio Hayabusa 2, a super fast 240Hz gaming monitor for roughly £375. Now yes, this definitely is not as cheap as you can go, far from it, but as you will see, this comes packing an IPS type screen, which gives you great colour and viewing angles that a TN monitor could only dream of. Translating this into the real world, it means that you can get the very best speed and refresh rate, but while maintaining a high quality panel that's ideal for watching movies, YouTube videos, but more importantly really, I think a lot of people don't quite appreciate that an IPS panel makes your games look incredible. And obviously the feel, as we've talked about so many times on this channel, is the most important thing when it comes to gaming, but that doesn't mean you can't have your cake and eat it. Now Pixio is a little bit of a new kid on the block, and while I haven't really heard all that much about them before, I've been incredibly impressed at their ethos and ultimately the product design. Because interestingly, it's almost as if there's not really much design to talk about. It's just a plain black monitor with little to no branding, no stickers, no bright LEDs, just thin bezels, a lightweight stand, and a single 4-way selector that's located around the back of the display. Like, seriously, why on earth can't more companies do this? It's so easy to use, the menu system could honestly be operated by a 2-year-old, and the stand adjusts with both height, swivel, and tilt, so everything is covered. In fact, the only thing that it doesn't have that is a little bit annoying is there's no hole for cable management. I guess you could drill one yourself if you're that committed. Seems like a weird thing to miss out, but otherwise really impressive stuff, and the new kid on the block seems to know what they're doing. Oh hold on, I've written quite a funny joke in my script, but I went off topic. I was meant to say, that's a bit of a bummer, but on the whole, Pixio have done a good job. I'll write them myself. No, I like that one. I like that one. I wish I'd left that in. Now let's press on to the gaming side of things, because again, this is brilliant news. For context, this display is even faster than my Asus PG35VQ, a monitor that cost £2,500, so I was very keen to fire up my go-to esports titles and put this thing through its paces. Up first was Apex Legends, a game I honestly haven't played since lockdown began a couple of months ago, so I was definitely a little bit rusty for sure. But jumping out of a plane and then diving into Kings Canyon was just awesome, and the butter-like fluidity and motion clarity is something you simply have to feel to believe. And when paired with a solid gaming mouse, you really have no excuses for your own poor performance. And moving around and aiming in a pinch is honestly a whole lot easier than any normal monitor. And even when you compare it to a 120 or 144Hz screen, you are getting a serious advantage at 240 frames a second. I think it's a real testament to this display to say that my second game that I played on this, I did go on to win. And if you are good at Apex, or you are good at whatever game that it is that you decide to play, you will be having a bit of an edge on the battlefield with something like this. As long as you can drive it, of course. Moving on to Smite, another esportsy game, and again, the trend continues. You need to have a real pinpoint level of accuracy when aiming and timing those abilities, and every second counts. So combining a 240Hz and the super low input lag of this thing, you'll feel properly geared up. If you are playing a harder to drive game such as Warzone, then you're unlikely to get the full 240Hz speed of this thing, but as it does support FreeSync and it's gsync compatible but it's not officially certified as such, you should be able to reduce stutter and tearing to maintain the smoothest experience possible. The Hayabusa 2, and I think I'm calling it right at this stage, is one of these next generation 1 millisecond IPS equipped monitors, which sounds fantastic in theory, and it is great too in practice, but note that 1 millisecond is the rated speed if you set the overdrive to its highest setting, which in my experience did introduce a little bit of inverse ghosting, which you don't want, so I was using the middle setting, which means you're probably likely to get anywhere between 1 and 5 milliseconds of response time, which is still fantastic, and it's a lot better than IPS monitors of old, and you honestly can tell the difference with this thing. But note that if you do want the absolute fastest response time, then you are going to need to get a TN. There is one of this monitor that's about £100 less if you're interested. But when it comes to the trade-off between image quality and response time, this for me is by far the sweet spot. But of course, it's going to depend entirely on your budget and your preference for speed versus image quality. 240Hz and IPS image quality then. The dream combination, and it's perfect for gaming, but then also ideal for both work and play. All for a relatively low amount of money when you compare it against rivals in its class. There simply must be a catch then, right? Well, there is, sort of, but to be honest, in my opinion, I don't really see this to be much of a trade-off or a catch. Because this is indeed 1080p Full HD. Sorry, were you expecting 8K? Looking at LG's GN750, that's actually a very similar monitor to this, and it's not that much more expensive, but my biggest complaint about that was its size. As for my personal taste, 27 inches is just a little bit too big for Full HD to make sense. It looks a little bit soft, to be honest. But on this slightly smaller 25-inch panel, I think you can actually get away with it. Sure, it's still not that sharp when you compare it to Quad HD and 4K monitors, and in content like video or creativity, it is going to be less than ideal, but it's still not really going to cause you any issues. And for something like gaming, it's not really something that you think about when you're plowing around in Kings Canyon trying to get kills as fast as possible. I probably should tell you that this thing is also advertised as HDR, and while it definitely can accept an HDR signal, it won't get anywhere near bright enough to be a proper feature for you, so in that regards, you may as well forget it. So where does this leave us then? Should you invest in the Hayabusa 2? Well, if you're the right gamer, then you know what? Yeah, absolutely. To be crystal clear, this is still not what I would buy for me personally, as I'd rather have a 165Hz 1440p screen, the likes of which can be found for just a little bit more money, as this would make more sense for someone that's suited to a real mixture of games, as the extra resolution would be great in the more visually pleasing titles and anything really that's a bit slower paced. But on the contrary, if you only play fast-paced games, if you're a multiplayer gamer and you play things like Warzone, Apex, Battlefield, Smite, you get the picture. Anything that is really competitive, you don't want to compromise on image quality, but you're happy to lower down that resolution a little bit, then this is exactly the sort of thing you should be looking at, because when it comes to the actual feel of the game, there's not really many things like this. This is at the top of its class, and when paired with that IPS image quality, you're not really making a sacrifice to get there. It is incredible. I'll leave my Amazon affiliate links to this located down below if you do want to check out current pricing or learn a little bit more. And of course, while you're down there, don't forget to check out this video's sponsor, Nvidia and MSI, and their awesome RTX laptops. The GF65 is the brand new thin and light GeForce RTX 2060 laptop from MSI that starts from just £999. Not only will you be putting this 120Hz screen to its full use in the latest multiplayer titles, but you're fully geared up for RTX titles such as Death Stranding, Minecraft RTX, and soon Cyberpunk 2077. Check it out with a link down below. Thank you so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. Smash that like button if you've enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on a monitor like this. Is 240Hz IPS the dream, and would you pay this amount of money for it, but would you rather spend more on getting high resolution or ultra-wide? I'll be really interested to hear from you, so do let me know. Get subscribed for more videos just like this, check out more monitor reviews in the end screen, but thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one. Smash that like button! I've gone American.